All right, the second part of our double feature that we went to go see tonight is Freaky Tales. We saw Hell of a Summer, which we just reviewed. We hated it. Or she actually liked it more than me. Anyways, go watch the review.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. Now, this is one we wrestled a bit with reviewing. Just because, yes, admittedly, this isn't horror. That said, the reason we eventually decided to do it is because I feel like this movie is mostly catered and geared towards genre fans, right? I feel like the horror crowd is the target audience.
Yeah.
Even if there isn't really any horror in it per se. I just feel like what other group of people are going to love this as much?
Yeah, no, I think it's fair. There's like sort of ish some supernatural things. I mean, like there is supernatural stuff happening.
Yeah.
So you could maybe try and make an argument that it has some horror elements to it.
Yeah.
Ish. But
that's
by and large, it's not a horror. So, yeah,
No.
just to be very clear on that.
Yes. So this movie has some pretty recognizable names and faces in it. Most notably, we have Pedro Pascal, who seems to be in every fucking thing. Not complaining, just saying. Ben Mendelsohn. And then we have a pretty huge name actor as a surprise cameo. If
Really
you don't
cool.
know who it is, I won't say anything. So this is 4 interconnected tales that takes place in 1987. We show this as an anthology, which, you know, very few movies are anthologies that aren't horror. So that alone. And then this deals with the punk rock scene, the punk rockers versus the skinheads. You've got, you know, the hip hop scene.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of music stuff in here. Once again, as I said, I think this is just so geared towards horror fans that I can't help but want to bring this up on the channel and at least give it a quick review here. I thought this was fantastic. You know, I did see The Girl with the Needle this year, so that's still my favorite film of the year, but that's like a heavy, dark film. This is such a crowd pleaser. I mean, if you're not hooting and hollering and cheering with so many things that happen in this movie, you're fucking already dead.
Yeah, I love this one. I thought it was so fun. It's so, like, just kind of gets you pumped up. And, I mean, my favorite segment is probably the first segment. Just
really?
Like,
okay.
I don't know. I really love
great.
the punk, like, rock stuff going on. I thought
Hell
it was
yeah.
just awesome. And just a really great, like, you know, everyone always, like, the joke about, like, punk rockers are, like, nice people that are, like, pretending to be mean or, like, that look mean. And I just thought that was a really good, like, representation of, like, the punk scene. And
well, the punk scene was, you know, kind of infamous for fighting against the skinheads in the 80s. So this is
super cool.
Is pretty, you know, true to life.
Yeah, but honestly, all of the segments are wonderful, and this is like a fantastic like anthology in that all of them relate to each other.
They're super
which not
interconnected.
not every anthology does that. Sometimes it's literally just here's one story, here's the next story, and like the only thing that like connects them is like maybe that there's a guy telling the story for the wraparound.
Yeah.
But this is like they're all interconnected, and I love that. I think it flows really fantastically. I love the music aspects. I mean, obviously the punk, you know, rock stuff is like my favorite, but the hip hop stuff was really cool, and I was into all of that. And then the last 2 segments are just really great as well. Pedro Pascal is, you know, wonderful as usual in this. So
yeah, you know, when we saw the trailer, because it was, you know, billed as an anthology, and Pedro Pascal was talking in the opening, I thought he was gonna be like the Crypt Keeper. I thought he was gonna be the wraparound guy, and he was gonna have a kind of a brief cameo as the guy kind of like setting up the stories. But that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
You know, he is the main character of the entire third story, which is probably 25, 30 minutes of the film.
He has a ton of screen time.
He has a ton of screen time. So that was pretty surprising to me. As far as like what my favorite segment is, honestly, I don't know. I almost feel like I'd have to really sit down and think about it. But I almost felt like they got better as they went on.
Yeah,
with the
fair.
fourth one maybe being my favorite of them.
The fourth one's rad.
But that one is very much up my alley because it's the most heavy action centric.
Yeah.
I won't reveal too much about it, but there's a lot of death.
Yes.
And yes, there's a decent amount of CG blood, but it's hyper stylized to look like that. It's not lazy.
Yeah.
It's purposely done in a way that's supposed to be stylized with the art in the film, and there's a lot of like artistic stuff going on in here. And my favorite aspect of the film is how interconnected things are and the way they're interconnected.
Yes.
I think it's very well done in that way, to all the way down to the mixtape that's sold.
Yeah.
And if you're really thinking about the whole movie's soundtrack, you'll connect everything and be like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, all these details, and it just really shows like the writing is very on point with the interconnectedness. And I'm glad you mentioned it, because I really like there is some like cartoon elements that are brought, like animation in the movie, and I always love when films do that, and so I really liked that aspect too. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that the way everything is woven together and all the stories like, intersecting each other is definitely like my favorite part. Yeah.
The Girl with the Needle, I should say this is the feel good movie of the year for me.
So far, yeah.
And The Girl with the Needle is the feel bad movie of the year.
Yeah, this one is like really feel good.
This is like so crowd pleasing to me, because it's like every segment is kind of like there's some dark, heavy stuff going on.
Absolutely.
In 3 of the 4. The second story is kind of just all like, good. Like it's all just like something happening to somebody, and there's an escalation of just like things going really well, and there's nothing like negative about that segment at all. There's all sorts of negative stuff in the other 3 segments, but they all end in a very fist-pumping, very crowd-pleasing way, but it doesn't feel pandering. It feels very earned, and you're very excited, and you're just kind of rolling with it and having a great time. The one like nitpick I would have with the movie, and I don't really honestly care, but the nitpick more comes at it from a perspective of, I think this might irk others because they might think the title is a bit misleading. And I had brought this up to Kaylee. So in the first 3 segments, completely outright, there's nothing freaky, supernatural, otherworldly, extraordinary. They're just kind of like straightforward tales. I mean, while there's good, like, while these stories would be like, oh shit, that's crazy, there's nothing freaky about them. There's nothing like, whoa, that doesn't make sense. Like, how could that possibly happen? It's just a series of events that unfold, and while they get bigger in scale than maybe your every average day story, there's nothing about them that is like extraordinary, right? It's just kind of like, okay, like that thing happened and everything is grounded in reality without question. I mean, okay.
I don't think that's
100%.
Yeah, but I think this is what people will also say as well. There is an element that is freaky in those stories. I think that, like you said, though, it gets kind of like more and more as it goes on, and obviously in the third or the fourth one is where it's like on full display. But there is an element of freakiness happening.
Green lightning.
It's there's
green eyes.
There's a energetic influence, we'll say.
Okay.
That is happening in the others.
If you were to take out literally moments, like a second, a frame here, a couple frames here, a 2-second scene here. If I was to take out, I'm going to say This is almost an hour and 45 minute movie. If I was to go in as an editor and cut out 10 to 15 seconds of this film, you'd have no freakiness and no supernatural elements of any sort. So to me, because they're freaky tales,
yeah,
I'm expecting, like, the stories themselves would be completely different. Or at least there would be so many extra elements that would make it like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, where someone like turns in, like, you know, the skinheads turn into zombies, or you know what I mean? Something insane like that. But nothing like that happens. 99% of the film, 99.9% of the film is very much grounded in reality, even if it's, you know, over the top.
Yeah.
So that, I don't care. I love the film. You know, it's probably the most enjoyment I've had watching a film this year. So it's not taking anything away from the film. I just find it odd. But it's extremely restrained with its freakiness.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So,
I don't know. I think you're gonna have people like maybe arguing a bit in the comments. But
okay,
maybe not.
Bring it on.
Not arguing.
I'm fine with that.
I think that
if you
there's
can change
some good,
my mind, I want to hear it.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
But yeah, I love so many moments in this were great.
Yes.
I could definitely see people not vibing with this one and thinking that not enough is happening and the stories aren't that interesting.
Oh.
But I could see that, but
that would be weird to me.
Yeah, that's not what happened for me.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, I felt like everything was great with this, the pacing, and I thought there's plenty of stuff happening. So
there was 3 people in this theater.
Yeah.
With us. One guy that was sitting very close to us was on his phone for 90% of the film.
Aww.
Every single time I looked over him, he was just down looking at his phone. And then the 2 people behind us, I don't know. But it's always with the experiences of these movies. When we saw Hell of a Summer, which I hated, a couple people behind us got up and left.
Yeah.
And then when I went into the bathroom after the 2 movies, there was these 2 kids in stalls next to each other, and they were peeing, and the one kid was like, oh man, I think I might have to pass a kidney stone. And he's like, pass that shit, pussy. I was like, what? And he's like, how do you get kidney stones? He's like, I drank a bunch of water. Like, I didn't eat. Is that how you get kidney stones? And I'm like, bro, if you had kidney stones, you would be going to the fucking hospital.
Oh my god.
It's literally like equivalent of giving birth. That's how it is. Like, my buddy passed a kidney stone, and he's one of the toughest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. He had a high fever. He was in the hospital. He was fucked beyond belief.
Awful.
And he was pissing blood.
Awful.
And screaming in agony.
Oh
no,
my
you pass a
gosh.
kidney stone, you will not just be in the bathroom like, bro, I think I passed a kidney stone. It's like, no, bro, I think you might have gonorrhea.
Ooh, yeah, that's not
You want to talk about freaky tales?
Gosh,
go to the bathroom at
bathroom.
AMC. There's the freakiest of the
I
tales.
don't have any stories.
He was pissing green lightning.
Bro.
Anyway, nothing happened in your bathroom?
No, nothing happened in
No
either
freaky
of
tales?
my bathroom experience. Yeah.
Alright. Well, alright. We are going to go and get back to 825 Forest Driver Lane.
Drive.
I
think.
The newest film from the director of the Hell House LLC films, which we're quite enjoying so far. So stay tuned on that. And yeah, lots of reviews coming out in the next few days. So if you like horror or anything relating to horror or stories about kidney stones, which is one of the ones that Thanos is looking for.
Oh, right,
He's
the
got
kidney stone.
Yeah, the kidney stone.
Yep.
He's passing it. Subscribe. We never asked for subscriptions, but
This time we are.
why not?
Yeah.
Why not? That'll be the freakiest thing you do today. Apparently to Kaylee, that'd be enough.
Only if it glows green when you hit the subscribe button. Let us know. You have to test it out. Hit subscribe.
Yeah, test it out.
And then tell us if it glows green. And
then they'll be like, no, it didn't. And then unsubscribe. All right, we'll see you in the comments. Bye. Guys.